War. War never changes.
I'm a good boy. Welcome to War Never Changes, your weekly video game podcast. This is episode number 32. My name is Jim, joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Phil McCracken.
I liked when I was Phil 50 cal McCracken better.
I mix it up every week. Sometimes I
No,
call
you
you
don't.
Philbert. A lot of times I've been calling you Philbert lately. You've devolved into Philbert.
Just because my KDR has gone down.
I don't know what is going on with your KDR. You are the last few games of Call of Duty, I have to say, you have had some struggles. Now, it could be internet connectivity because I am definitely suffering from that. It could be you stink, which I doubt because I've played with you and I know you're competent. Or I don't know what it could be. But no, I didn't demote the 50 caliber name because I don't think you're worthy of it. I just mixed it up and I went with Phil McCracken because I feel like when you put too many things in, you miss the joke of Phil McCracken. Because people are like,
Gotcha.
is this guy's really, is his name really, last name really McCracken? It's like, no, Phil McCracken. They're like, oh, I get it. But when I put all these things in between, Filbert, 50 caliber McCracken Jr., it loses the joke. So I'm bringing it back.
I gotcha.
So this week's show is going to be a lot of reviews. We've got a lot of games we've been playing. Honestly, the news has been kind of quiet. This is that time of the year where we're kind of ramping down. Most of the major releases have come or about to, like Cyberpunk. The Game Awards have been kind of solidified, and the news is kind of dying off. The consoles are out in the wild. If you got one, great. If not, you're probably not going to get one for a while. So it's a good time to catch up on games, true games, right?
That's right.
So I want to start with the reason I am wearing this here headband, which if I worn it on this show before, I can't remember.
Yes, you have.
Okay.
Many times.
I can't remember. I know I've worn the Minecraft shirt before. The reason, Phil, I am wearing this here headband is because I want to talk about my love for Frank Woods in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And you jokingly, listen.
I called it.
I knew.
I called it.
Look at him doing twirlies. He's doing twirlies, y'all. Listen, you and I were talking on Polo about I don't know what. And you made some kind of joke about, well, I think it was about what we were going to talk about this week. I think is honestly what it was going to be.
I said we're going to talk about whichever new beloved character we're going to fall in love with from Cold War.
And I totally, not because of your influence, not because of your tall, 6'7", healthy frame influence. Well, you're not 6'7"? What are you?
6'9".
Whoa! Well, I'm 5'9", bitch. I think. I don't know how tall I am. Tall enough.
You're
Tall
just
enough.
a little good boy.
Tall enough to be able to press this button right here. I'm not going to press it because it'd probably crash the show, but I was going to press the button to make you vanish briefly, but I don't want to do that.
Gee, thanks.
But I definitely, not because of your influence, but I finally decided, because you're not around this week, you're on the road, didn't take any consoles, like a fool that you are. Allows me to catch up on some single player experiences with Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Now, before I begin, I have to preface this by saying I have never played a Black Ops game in my life. I bought them. I thought they sucked. It was too weird. You're like being reprogrammed. You're going back in time. I'm out. I didn't play it. So I am going into this. I know nothing about Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
Like a virgin, touched for the very first time. Jim's never been touched.
Never. Only by myself and my dog.
And Uncle Bad Touch.
That's right. And that one time at Thanksgiving that we don't talk about. But the truth is, I love this game, and it makes me want to go back and play the other ones now. I don't think I will. I'm just saying it makes me want to. I don't think I'm going to go back. I just want to preface this.
I had so much fun with the new Modern Warfare that I went back and I bought Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare and then Modern Warfare 2 so I could replay the campaign missions. I bought the up-revsed versions for Xbox One X, and I never played them because we got busy.
Yeah, we got PlayStation Plus started giving them out. I think they just gave out number 2 maybe like 2 months ago, and I haven't touched them either. And I'm like, they look fun. I can't wait, but I don't know. I think what drew me so much to Modern Warfare, just it's such a polished game, but I have talked on this show at length of my man crush for Captain John Price. I think he is just so cool. The facial hair, his accent, his just everything about him. If you're gonna get in a fist fight and you need a bro on your side, it should be Captain Price. I maintain that.
Agree.
However, the headband, back to the headband, I think I like Frank Woods better. I'm not ready to break up with Captain Price, but I will say that like when I'm drawing my name in cursive, I used to write like Jim Price in cursive. I've toyed with the idea of writing Jim Woods now. He's the real deal, dude.
I am so ashamed of you.
And I love I love Captain Price to the point that
you said you want to have his babies.
I want to have his babies to the point that when we play Modern Warfare, I hunt down other people. I didn't buy Captain Price, but in my head, I am Captain Price. I will intentionally kill and focus fire on other Captain Prices first to kill them because I am Captain Price. That is the extent of my love for this fictional Polygon man.
Yeah,
but
Frank, and now you're jumping ship on him because you're a disloyal little slut fuck.
Wow. Well, maybe. But I will say that Frank Woods is a true badass. And I think what makes him so cool is he's your typical 80s commando dude. Think back to like any 80s action movie, Rambo, any of the Stallone movies, any of the Schwarzenegger movies, Braddock, any of those. They always have the headband. The real tight, and there's always this scene where they're like, and they pull it real tight. Van Damme, any of those, right? This dude rocks he's a normal guy, like he's in the briefing room with you, and I'm going to talk about the mission structure because this is fascinating to me, but he's in the room hanging out with you, talking to you about intel, helping you solve the mystery, and then he's like, all right, look, we need Woods, and your character name is Bell. We need Woods and Bell. You guys need to get out there and go do a mission. And he's like, let's go. And then it's just like, it's the coolest shit. I don't know how to describe it. And he's just got that really gruff voice for no reason all the time. And I'm like, you know what? Captain Price is cool, but I think Frank Woods might be the guy. He might be the guy to beat. I did say it was a slow news week, guys, and it really is.
Jim's dad gave him one objective in life. One objective. And you fail consistently.
The man crush is a real bro. So I think part of it, too, is the way, and I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody, including you, Phil, so don't worry. There's been no spoilers in any of these reviews. The mission structure in Black Ops Cold War, the level design is not linear. There's a lot of dialogue options. There's a lot of decisions you make that directly influence other characters, directly influence the missions you partake in, how you partake in them, how you complete them. There's optional side quests. Think of like Dishonored, like really, really Dishonored Light, where you'll start a mission. It's like your objective is to go kill X. And along the way, you'll meet somebody and they're like, could you really help me do this thing over here? And you have a choice. You could do it or not. And there are consequences for doing them both. I love that. It's really, 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 really cool. So it does not play like a Call of Duty game. There are the corridor shootings. There are the standard, here's a 50 cal, we're going to blare Fortunate Son on the helicopter and you're going to sit there and just rain lead down. You're going to do that. You're going to have Frank
Please
Woods.
tell me they really have that scene.
I guess you have to play it and find out. They do some of the weird time travel-y stuff where you go back in time to remember things. But all through it, the characters and this environment that they're put in and the way that you really own the story, for me, gives me such a deeper connection to these characters, including Frank Woods, over that of the ho-hum Modern Warfare campaign.
I'm really excited to play this game now. I've been so busy with the other games I've been playing, it's just kind of been an afterthought.
Yeah, and I did not buy this game for the single player. Very intelligently enough, they have allowed you to uninstall the single player when you're done with it to save those precious gigabytes on our PlayStation 5s. So I think you could buy back like 20 or 22 gigs or so. Once you beat it, you could delete it. But I honestly, this would be the first real Call of Duty that I would legitimately go back and replay. Not saying I will, but I would go back and replay it to see something different because I know the direct choice I made influenced the mission. I know it did because the character told me or wasn't there. I'm being vague on purpose. And I was like, wow, if they were there or they said this would have been very different.
Okay.
So I'm very excited. And additionally, another thing this Call of Duty does that I really, really enjoy is there is an optional couple of missions you can partake, but you have to solve a mystery by gathering clues in other missions and deciphering codes and actually working through a puzzle to crack into a computer to do a mission.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's like Splinter Cell meets Call of Duty meets like LA Noire.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, very, very light, very light. This is definitely very small compared to some of those games that do it much better. But I think the Call of Duty purists will not like this game. And I believe the reason the review scores are a little bit lower on this game is because it's such a wild departure from Call of Duty. There are just as many stealth and talking missions as there are run and gun missions.
Dude, all the collective 12-year-old rees are resounding on the internet for poor Metacritic scores.
Right? Because I think it's sitting at I could look it up really quick. I want to say it's below 70 or below 80, which for Call of Duty is really low. Let's look here. Black Ops Cold War Metacritic is currently sitting at a 77, which is really low for a Call of Duty game, which is typically in the 85, 80, like high 80s range. So
I don't know how much I trust Metacritic though, because another game that we're going to talk about that Ubisoft is putting out later this month is sitting at like an 82 or an 83 Metacritic, and I know that that's a hot piece of trash. I just know.
So, I mean, the only rating system we can honestly use is a Metacritic. I agree, it's not the best. There are 29 different critical reviews. Some of the sites always give games 100. Some of the sites always give games zeros. So I assume a lot of those do average out. But I think it's a good representation, and I think a lot of people really have to accept that this Call of Duty game is a very different experience. And if you're willing to do that, and you're willing to, appreciate that this game is a wild departure from anything you know on Call of Duty and go with it, I think you're going to like it. I think it's about a 5-hour campaign from what I can tell. I think I have 1 or 2 missions left and then I'm done. So it's not a long story, just enough to kind of get you into doing some different things that you normally do.
We as a community of gamers need to stop berating developers to try something different or give us something new.
Yeah.
And then when someone finally steps up and does it and they do something creative and unique, just oh, this fucking sucks. This isn't a Call of Duty game. Like, yes, that's aggravating to me. But I am excited to play it. I'm a little bummed out though. It's a full price game. I mean, I know that that
The new
you
full
know,
price game, $70. That's the new. It's not. It wasn't a $60 game. Now it's that new juicy $70 price point.
Yeah, and like the focus has shifted majorly, and I understand that
Yep.
people are buying Call of Duty for multiplayer. I get it, but a 5-hour campaign, come on, really, 20. You know, the average campaign for a full price game is somewhere between 45 and 100 hours, give or take. How massive the, I mean, give us 20 hours, please.
I think they totally could have. There's definitely a lot of stuff that you just take for granted that I think they could have really expanded on some of these character stories. A lot of characters you meet, you make a decision, and then they're just kind of, okay, I said my line, I'm gone, I'm moving on. I really think they could have done a better job of fleshing some of these stories out. I get it. A lot of people are very familiar with these characters based on the other Call of Duty Black Ops games. I am not. So this is my first time seeing them. So maybe a lot of the questions I have already been answered, or maybe we just aren't supposed to care about them. But I don't know. I think they're compelling characters, and just the banner you have in the missions with people. It's like, okay, I'm digging this world. I'm digging this vibe, the 80s music, the 80s look, the headband. Like, this is the 80s action game. They did a really good job, I think, and I'm shocked to say that I think it's a phenomenal campaign so far, because usually I think they're throwaways.
Dude, I just have to say, I really hope that scene that you described comes to fruition, because nothing makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck like when we're looking at a Vietnam War, war scene or whatever. We're panning over a large tropical field or a forest
Right.
or some sort of war zone,
Yeah.
and there's a badass guy hanging out of a Huey with a chain-fed gun on, and you hear that near
Yeah.
Fortunate Son come on.
Yep. The official
I love
soundtrack of the Vietnam War, brought to you by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
That's right. Just that one
Just
song.
just on loop, because it's only like 2 minutes long.
If you really listen to it, it's not that pro-American.
Oh no, it's definitely not. Just like Born in the USA is totally anti-American, but people here think, oh, Born in the USA, he's speaking about how great it is to be an American. It's like, so you brought up a good point, and this is a good transition. You brought up a really good point. You said you wanted to talk about another game by Ubisoft, which I know you're referring to is Fenyx Rising, Immortals Fenyx Rising. Let me ask you this question before you jump into how much you hate it, and then I'm going to tell you why I think you're wrong. But do we deserve, like with Call of Duty, we know what it is. We think we knew what Call of Duty was. It is a corridor shooter. It's mindless. You hold down the right trigger, you press forward, you shoot and blow everything up. The end. The fact that they gave us something that's so radically different, should we not expect that? Should we just expect the run-of-the-mill Call of Duty? Should we just expect it's going to be the same because that's what it's supposed to be, and how dare they do anything different?
For Call of Duty?
Mm-hmm.
No, I just said that.
So then my question to you is, transitioning over to Immortals Fenyx Rising, Zelda Breath of the Wild, probably one of the most universally loved games, probably in the upper 90s in Metacritic, radically changed the way we look at open world games to this day. Everybody wanted more of that. Nintendo did not deliver. They haven't. They've been absent for, I don't know when the Switch came out, 2014, 2015? A while. So Ubisoft stepped up and they're like, okay, we'll do it. And they did. So with that segue, tell me what's wrong with Immortals Fenyx Rising. Immortals Fenyx Rising.
It's just that. It's just a Zelda clone ripoff, but instead of it being like a serious dramatic story, they just have all these stupid innuendo and stuff thrown in there. It's like the most lazily made piece of shit with like this like gender ambiguous, like androgynous thing that's supposed to be the hero, and like you've got some wings and you're flying around and Ares is a chicken. I mean, come on. Like zany Zelda, I don't think anyone asked for that. I think people asked for another Zelda game with Link in it, not whatever the fuck Ubisoft is giving us. I don't know, man. Last time we talked, you and I were on the same page with this game, and all of a sudden you have this rapid shift in opinion.
Rapid shift.
Because you're a disloyal, flippy floppy little bitch.
Right. Here's what I'll say, because I did think about this, and I did play the Stadia. They had an open beta weekend, and I played 2 hours of it. on Stadia, which was horrible because Stadia is trash. No HDR, poor frame rate, did not fill up my entire ultra wide screen. It stuttered. I had a lot of VSync issues. The sound was flat, a lot of pixelization. But I still played it because I wanted to talk about it and I needed to know if it was a fun game. And it was a really fun game. And I genuinely laughed out loud, ha ha ha, numerous times in the first 10 minutes because of how zany the storytelling is. And it doesn't take itself seriously.
Yet you don't like Fable.
Oh no, Fable's trash. Fable's so bad.
That's all this game is a blend of Fable and fucking Legend of Zelda. That's all it is.
No. I say no because here's you want to know my experience with Fable? I probably told you this story. I went to GameStop. I know, this is how bad this is how dark this story. It all began in a GameStop. And I walked in and I'm like, I want a game. And they're like, okay, we have 2 games today. You could have Fallout 3 or Fable 3. And I was like, Fable 3, that sounds amazing. I love, medieval stuff. Let's get Fable. I went home. I went to the first town. I don't even know what the name of the town is. And I'm like, can I kill the guard? And I kept killing the guard, and he kept respawning in front of me, and I killed him. And there was a pile of guards, dead guards, and it was so dumb. And I played it. I'm not kidding you, Phil. I probably played it 10 minutes. It was probably about 10 minutes. And I'm like, this is so dumb. And I went back to GameStop. About an hour later, I traded it in. I lost half of my money to buy Fallout 3. And I probably spent 400 hours on that game, and it was one of the best games I've ever played in my life. That's my experience with Fable 3. So, no.
You did nothing to demonstrate an actual flaw with Fable 3. You're just an idiot, and you got mad because there was no finality to killing the town guard. I'm sorry you couldn't murder this random guard and have him stay dead. That doesn't make Fable 3 a bad game.
You could do it in Fallout 3, by the way, though. And then you could have a whole faction system where the town doesn't like you.
No one is debating that, okay?
Oh, no, I'm just saying that was my thought process.
Fallout 3 versus Fable 3. Fallout 3 is way up here, and Fable 3 is down here. But by itself,
way down there.
Fable 3 is a very good game. It's a very fun game.
I'm glad you liked it. I'm patting you on the head. That's good for you. Listen.
You can't even reach my fucking head, you asshole.
This is true. But I'll sit down and I'll stand next to you and pat your head. Listen here, Lurch. I am with you. Here's what I'm going to say. I look at this as an opportunity. It is a total blatant ripoff. And I'm talking about Immortals now. I'm not talking about Fable anymore because I have nothing else to say about it. But I understand what you're saying and I'm glad you liked it. Immortals Fenyx Rising takes a genre that everybody wanted and delivers on it in the same way that Genshin Impact did the exact same thing and made a free-to-play Zelda game, and it's blown up internationally. It's made over $400 million. It is a just monumental success. So shame on Nintendo for not making a sequel to a phenomenal game, and good on everybody else for taking what they did and trying to put their own spin on it. If it was a very serious, not that Zelda's serious at all, but if it was a more grounded tone like Zelda, people would say, oh, it's a Breath of the Wild clone. But here you have a zany, goofy story that at least doesn't take itself seriously. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's the way I look at it. And it is fun to play. I guess that's the other part. I genuinely enjoyed playing it.
What... Okay. Hey, I got to keep an open mind. I guess I'm going to have to get it and play it.
No, don't get it. Sit on the sidelines and pout. Wait for his Breath of the Wild 2. We'll see you in 2027.
We already have a teaser trailer for Breath of the Wild 2.
Bitch, that game's been in development for like 14 years. I don't know where what is Nintendo doing?
Oh, you're not excited for Cyberpunk? That's right. Shut the fuck up.
I'm sort of excited I'm lukewarm on. I have it pre-ordered. I will definitely be playing it. I did not like Witcher 3. I thought Witcher 3 was not a fun game. And I tried it
No, it
3
wasn't.
different times on the PlayStation, the Xbox, and the PC. And all 3 times I hated it. I could not get into it. I did not like the combat. It just
Nope.
was not my game. I don't know
No,
why.
boring and terrible. You know why? Because it was boring and terrible. And I bought like the Ultimate Edition for because I like the first two on GameCube.
You're like one of the few people who played. I didn't know it was on GameCube. Was it on GameCube? Really? Wow. That's deep, man. That's I didn't. It probably ran like ass because I played it on. I played Witcher 1 on
Hey,
computer and it ran horribly.
fuck you. GameCube's one of the best consoles that was ever made.
The handle was cool, so you could take it and throw it out the window easily. I love the GameCube. That was GameCube started Nintendo's philosophy of, hey, this isn't working, let's abandon it entirely. You saw that with really, you saw that with the VR. I forget what the Virtual Boy. You saw it with all the 3DSs they tried. The Wii, they're like, hey, you know what? GameCube's not selling. And then they quit making games for it. And everyone's like, hey, what about the GameCube? They're like, buy a Wii. See you later.
Dude, the Wii sold like hotcakes, so
Because of the bowling.
I don't really think it's fair to compare the Wii to the GameCube sales figures
Okay.
wise.
Okay. I'm just saying that, I mean, I'm not getting on a tangent on GameCube. I did enjoy GameCube for the 3 games that came out with it. I loved Wave Race. Wave Race 64 is my jam. But
Did you ever play True Crime, Streets of LA?
I did play True Crime Streets of LA.
On GameCube?
No.
Oh.
That's some hardcore. I played Scorpion King. I got it at the bargain bin at Target for $2, and it kept glitching on one level, so I never beat it. But it was fun.
I don't think there's going to be an episode 33.
Wrapping up and looking back on the last 32 episodes, what do you think? Listen, so I guess my point is this. Nintendo had an opportunity here. They let everyone down. Now, you could say it's the Nintendo polish. They're taking longer. It's COVID. I don't know what. But you are starting to see a mass amount of Zelda-like clone games, which have been in development for many years, each with their own unique spin. You have the Genshin Impact, which is very, very heavy Japanese RPG based. You now have Immortal Fenyx Rising with very heavy mythology and tongue-in-cheek and making fun of itself. I think you're going to see more of these next year. I don't think it's going to stop. I think these are going to keep coming. And I'm not going to say if, when Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, it's going to have a lot of competition because it was so good. But I think they did this themselves.
Do you think they care at all?
No, that's the interesting thing with Nintendo. They are on
no reason for
Nintendo
them to.
Island doing whatever they're doing. They're counting money and doing it.
Yeah, there's no reason for them to care. You know why? Because when Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, it's going to sell more. It's going to sell more than all their other their competitors combined.
Probably right. The problem I have with, and I don't even own the game. I think it's coming Friday. I think we ordered it from Target.
The 4th.
Yeah. So
Comes out the 4th.
okay. So whenever Target ships it, we'll get it. Maybe I'll get it like a year from now. Who knows? Whenever I get it. Based on the reviews I've seen and what people are talking about, is it's very Assassin's Creed-ish, where you go to a certain point, you open up an area of the world, you put markers, and then you basically do the typical Ubisoft collectathon, like you do in The Division or in Assassin's Creed, where you just basically tick off all the things to see and do. I don't have an objection with that, but a lot of people have said, and I don't really necessarily feel this way, but a lot of people have said the joy of Breath of the Wild was stumbling into an area and having no idea what the hell you're going to find. Not like, hey, there is armor and it's right here. Go stand here. Like, you know what I mean? So that's probably the only thing I think Zelda still got going for it, is that pure adventure. They've never been that, like, sync to the waypoint and uncover the map. You kind of just stumble into trouble.
Yeah, and I like that. Now I don't know. Now I'm worried. Now I'm worried because I am going to go buy it and I will play it, and I'm just worried that I'm really going to like it. I'm going to have to eat a bunch of crow for talking shit about it.
No, I mean, I bought it because it was on sale. It was an oopsie on Amazon or Target when I bought it. One of those two. I don't remember where I got it from. But it was like a sales error. I was like, okay. And it seems like it's going to be okay. And I was like, it borrows heavily on Assassin's Creed combat. It borrows heavily on Zelda exploration. And it's got a nonsensical Far Cry-esque level of humor to it. So I'm playing so many other games, though. I just don't know I'm going to like sink thousands of hours into this. Like, I'm still playing a crap ton of Valhalla. Like, I'm not even close to done with that. So, I mean, this is like we joked about this, but this is like the Ubisoft launch of this is Ubisoft the console. That's what I'm basically playing. PlayStation somehow got the license it, but it's Ubisoft's console right now.
Yeah.
That's all I got. I mean, other than Call of Duty, I mean, that's really what's out there right now.
I mean, fuck Spider-Man, right?
Well, we're gonna get Spider-Man in a minute. No, I want to get Spider-Man now, and I want to hear you tell me. Now, we are going to get into some spoilers on the original Spider-Man, and I'm going to say that because the game is old as dirt. So if you haven't played the original Spider-Man and you're like Phil, an Xbox guy who is spending way too long on the wrong things, it's time to leave and come back later when you've played it. But Phil, no holds barred, sir. Tell me your thoughts on finally beating one of the greatest games of the last generation, Marvel's Spider-Man 2018.
It's a great game. I loved it. The storytelling was fantastic. The way that they crafted the missions was good. I liked the free roam activities. The combat was a little, I felt like Spider-Man could have been much more powerful. Like you're like, if I'm a big, strong guy, and if just Peter Parker, were to stand there and just let me hit him, yeah, I could probably hurt him pretty bad. Spider-Man, if he just sat there and let me hit him, wouldn't feel it at all. That is a canonical truth. That's a canon truth. And this game was totally non-canonical when it came to his power. Like 1 minute, I'm lifting a car. The next minute, an average Italian gangster was knocking me the fuck out with one punch. So, I mean, I disagree with that totally. I think that was a stupid way to do the combat mechanic. I think that Spider-Man was way too weak in a lot of different situations, but the story was fantastic. I liked the different selection of baddies and super baddies that you fought.
Mm-hmm. Quite
The story
a few.
was told beautifully. The character development was fantastic. MJ annoyed the fuck out of me at first, and I hate doing her missions, but she kind of got.
She grew on you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
On me because she finally like chilled the fuck out.
Yeah. I think going back to your point on Spider-Man's power, superhero games in general always have this issue. Maybe Batman is the rare exception because he's not really. I mean, he's a superhero, but he has no powers. But you have to do something to make it a game. Otherwise, I mean, I guess you could just say there is no health bar. You could just die. You'll never die. You could just stand there and, it doesn't matter. I mean, they have to put some mechanic in there to make it a challenge, don't they?
Yeah, but like when fucking who's the biker guy? When a supervillain punches me in the face, yes, it should hurt. When a normal human being punches me in the face, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Like if I was getting my ass kicked by like 30 guys, just make the engagements bigger then. Make the engagements bigger, and you have to take on more than 5 or 6 guys at a time. But one guy hitting me, KOing me, that's fucking stupid, and I'm not going to concede that point.
So no, I'm with you, and I agree. I thought there was some of that. I'm just saying, if it was up to you to design the game, would you then have only him fight other villains, and like the gangs would not exist, or the gangs would, when you fought the gang members, it would just be like button mashing fodder?
That's all it is now, except it's frustrating. It's just button mashing fodder now. You're just hitting the same button over and over and over again, or you're like going over to triangle a little bit when you're in the air, or like holding down square. That's you're just button mashing one button with the occasional mix in or long press of a button.
So I thought the combat was really fluid, and I don't know how you played compared to how I played, and I don't remember a whole lot of it because it was a while ago, but I remember doing a lot of air juggling. I remember hitting multiple people at once. Did you use the thing a lot where you'd whip a guy around over your head with the web and like throw him at other people? When people would shoot missiles at me, I would always whip them back at them. I wouldn't dodge out of the way. I'd always hit the quick prompt to throw them back.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
unlocked all his powers. I had all, like, towards the end of the game when you're running out of bad guys to fight,
Right.
I unlocked all his powers and I had all that stuff. And I was getting some monster, like, I played on the hardest difficulty and I did really well with this game. I legitimately, I think I did well. I played well. I didn't die all that often, at least getting towards the end once I, got some power behind me. But I had some good combos going, man. Like I'd get a 60 or 75 hit combo going before anyone would even touch me. So yes, the combat was very smooth and it was easy to kind of navigate your way through the engagements.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm grasping at straws. Who knows?
No, I mean, the suit power I used the most was the mechanical arms.
I use Spider Bro almost exclusively. The mechanical arms was too clunky. Like you just kind of it took a lot to get him to move around for some reason. At least for me, it was not smooth with the iron arms.
Gotcha. I think that Spider-Man did a really good job of. I mean, everybody knows who he is, and they did a good job of not boring you with an origin story, like we've seen a bazillion times. Well, we kind of joined in progress a little bit. But I thought they made the stakes good enough, and they made it enough of their own to make it a fun game. I think a lot of people saw a lot of the twists and turns coming. Definitely in terms of like Doc Ock, and for example, like. But I still felt an emotional connection fighting those people. And fighting against Doc Ock that was like, it wasn't painful, but I was like, man, like I could really hear the emotion in their voice when they're fighting each other, because like it's like he's your bro, like, and now he's
that was tough.
Yeah, it was hard.
That
was hard. I did go back and watch the ending. I totally forgot Aunt May died. That's how impactful it was to me. I had to Google the ending, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot she totally died. That I did not see that coming. I thought for sure he would be able to find a cure at the 11th hour and save her. But yeah, it was good. I mean, I did platinum that game. I did go back and beat everything except for the DLC, but I'm typically not a person who invests a lot of time in DLC, so it didn't grab me. I think I played maybe the first 1.5 DLCs and I checked out.
Yeah, so I've completed the mission. I've completed all the main story stuff. I'm at like I finished the actual story missions of the first DLC. I didn't like 100% it yet. I'm at like 95% total completion, but
Nice.
I got a little worn out and I moved on to other things.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, like the whole idea of like getting a platinum, it doesn't mean dick. Honestly, trophy systems are dumb, and a lot of people pick on Nintendo for not having a trophy system, but they're kind of pointless. I think I got it just because I had played so much and I invested so much into it. It was like my way of like saying thank you to Insomniac in a weird way. But yeah, it was towards the end, like having to go to each district and stop like 40 bank robberies or stop all the cars. After a while, I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like, let's move on.
Yeah, that got old real quick. In fact, I've done literally everything except for the street crimes. I can't. I don't care.
It's not.
I
Yeah,
don't
see,
care.
it shouldn't be a chore. That's the thing. And if it turns into a chore, it's not worth doing. But honestly, a lot of those platinums are, where it's like, even like when I was playing Ghost and I got the platinum in that game. Towards the end, I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. Like, I was counting down in my head, like, okay, I think in like an hour I'll be done. Like, okay, I think 30 minutes left. Okay, there's one thing left to do. Like, and then it was done. It wasn't a celebration. It was a relief. I was like,
Yeah.
woo, I'm so glad I'm done with this game.
I've done everything except for some of the street crimes, so I don't care. I'm just going to tell people I platinumed it because I did everything else.
Don't look him up online, because then it'll be like, this guy is a liar.
Dude, no one's ever going to find my PSN.
I'm not even gonna say it, because when I found out the reasoning behind your handle, I patted myself on the back and said, "Attaboy, Viper Magic, you're a branding god." He's speechless. He doesn't even know what to say. That was just
tired.
you just got uppercutted by awesome. That's what just happened to you. I just awesome uppercutted you.
Okay. Are you done?
No, I'm only getting started. You can't stop me. You can only hope to contain me. So going back to Frank Woods. No. Okay, so it's been. Oh, that's your karma. Do you need to go get it?
Hold on. I'll be right
We'll
back.
wait. We'll wait. While Phil's answering his call, it's his mom telling him not to have a potty mouth on the podcast. Nobody rings twice and hangs up though. Did he call himself? Did he like bamboozle? He's like sitting there and his like phone screen's like completely off and well, no, hold on, it was off. He's like, oh, I have a call. Hello. Like that just seemed a little too fake. You know what I mean? Like how convenient. He just happened to look over at the phone and it rang. But he's been gone a long time. What is he doing? Oh, he's coming back. We need to know what happened. We have to know.
That was the front desk calling, letting me know that my dinner is here, and the delivery guy's bringing it up.
All right. Well, what a way to end the show, Phil. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I had it scheduled for 6:15. I don't know why it's here so early.
Fine.
When it gets here, I'll go bring it in and we can keep talking.
No, it's fine. I had one other thing to talk about, and we could.
Then we'll talk about it.
No. I demand we stop now. What do you have for dinner? What's for dinner tonight?
Oh, just a chicken sandwich.
This is all going on the show, so this is fascinating. People, welcome to War Never Changes Culinary Edition with your host Phil's Chicken Sandwich. Phil's Mr. Ready to Eat, Mr. I'm on, ready to go, hardworking man. Got to get that, all that yelling over Immortal, Fenyx Rising. Worked him in a tizzy.
We can finish the show. We don't need to stop.
Worked him in a tizzy. I did. Okay, so the one last thing, and then we can go because it was a light news week. In all fairness, and I'm looking at the timer, and we're in the ballpark for starting to wrap up.
Let me go grab it from the door, and then we can.
Yes, I'll wait. We'll be back. We're waiting for Phil to go grab the door. I wonder if he washes his hands when he touches the bag. That's how you get COVID. That's how you get COVID. Me, very, very, very clean freak. Washing my hands constantly. Food comes in, I don't touch it. This delivery guy, licking his hands, driving, touching the doorknob, touching the elevator, assuming Phil is not on the first floor, usually. With Phil's status, he's probably on the penthouse at this point. So the guy's got to get in the elevator. There's a lot of people giving high fives. What's in the bag? Oh, you want to see what's in the bag? Did you wash your hands after you touched the bag?
What?
Did you grabbed the bag? Did you wash your hands?
Of course. That's how you get COVID.
That's what I just said. I just got to talk. Did you hear me saying all that? That's what I just gave a story about how
No, it's a big room. I had to go way the fuck over there.
You are in a I knew you were in a penthouse. Here's the last topic. I saved the best for last. I want to talk to you about headphones. And I know we've talked about this before. I want to talk about it again. There's been some developments. Now, as you and I have talked, early adopters get screwed. It's just the way it is. It's always been that way. We knew when we got the Pulse 3D headphones, they weren't the best. They weren't necessarily the worst. But we knew we were going to get a okay experience with the option of upgrading in the future. Now, it's only been a few weeks, but I want to hear from you first. Tell me your thoughts so far on Pulse 3D headphones.
They will get me as far as I need them to get me. I am totally comfortable continuing to use them until I have a clear purchase in mind that I just know I need to make that upgrade. If I needed to use these for a year, I could.
Really? Okay, I'm surprised. I have got to say, for me, being a guy who's used to wired headphones, I love the wireless, and I know that is not unique to Pulse by any stretch of the imagination, but these are my first wireless headphones, and because of that, I really do like the freedom. The cord isn't hanging off my chest. I'm not like doing this all the time with my cord. It's just not there, and I love it. And I found that just gaming and doing this, leaning back and forth without the cord pulling, It really is nice. And I honestly am surprised to hear you say that because I figured you were going to tell me you were ready to jump ship. Because every time we talk about Steel Series or we talk about Audeze or we talk about these bows, QCs, and all this other stuff, you seem like you're ready to jump ship. But now you're
Oh, I
saying you're
am.
not. Oh, okay. But I'm.
I am. I am. But these Pulse 3Ds, as a review of the headset themselves,
Yes.
they are sufficient enough to get me to where I need to be to make a transition. They are good enough to hold me over. They are. They're holding their own, man. For the $99 that they cost, they're a solid piece of equipment.
I'm really surprised that I liked them as much as I thought I would. My biggest complaint is not with the headphone quality itself, it's with Sony's adaptation of 3D audio.
Mm.
I am finding a lot of videos I have done, a lot of independent reviews of me trying every headphone I have. Marshall, Sennheiser, well, actually multiple pairs of Sennheisers, Astros, you name it. I have headphones all over the place. And it drives me bananas that this 3D audio is such a weird gimmick. I just wanted it to work, and it's not just that way. It's like, depends on the game, depends on what settings you put in the game. It may sound okay. It might sound, and it's like, I feel like it's a chore. I just wanted to plug my headphones into the console and put them on and then just be blown away. And it seems like it's a lot more customization and tweaking than I am comfortable with doing.
Okay. Okay. So you were expecting to just plug it in and just have it work, not do all this messing around and that stuff. And that is a reasonable expectation, but not for $99.
I don't really think it's so much the headphones, and maybe I'm wrong, but like Black Ops, perfect example. I think the 3D audio on that game makes it sound really bad, really
Well,
bad.
that's not Sony's fault.
The fact that Sony is so hard ushering in this 3D audio set that they've shunned Dolby entirely in Atmos and said, no, 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 we're not doing Atmos, we're doing Sony's Tempest 3D audio. That is where I have a frustration with it. I don't know who to
Yeah,
blame. I don't know who to
just
blame.
let's get past before we and I'm totally fine with doing this once we know for sure. Let's get past the launch titles before we
Agreed.
resign Tempest 3D audio as a stupid gimmick that doesn't work.
So, I mean, like, did you play? I don't. So, apparently, PlayStation's been dabbling in 3D audio for a while. I did go back and look, and there are a lot of PlayStation 4 games that are explicitly designed for 3D audio. Few of them are on that greatest hits. Days Gone is one of them for sure. That is designed with this 3D audio in mind. And maybe that's why when I finally got the Astro A40s, I was blown away because it was designed for that. But yeah, like when you played Spider-Man, did you use your headphones or did you use your TV mostly?
Both.
Did you find a huge difference in your headphones versus your TV or not really?
I greatly preferred to play using my headphones.
And I was the same way for about the hour we spent playing Miles Morales. It was night and day difference between my Bose sound system and my Pulse headphones. I thought the Pulse headphones sounded 1,000 times better.
I love the integration of like actual music into Miles Morales instead of
That
just
is
like the
cool.
same orchestral music every time you swing.
And maybe that's why I like Black Ops so much, is because when you're shooting, sometimes you'll hear music play, and I'm like, it feels like a movie. It feels like,
Yeah.
this is where you get the cool Matrix, music in the background when they're shooting. It's not just some orchestra, like you said. Um, the reason I ask is because I've been doing a lot of forum reviews on the Audeze Penrose, and a lot of people are starting to say they're a lot better than they thought. A lot better than they thought. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm still on the fence. I haven't bought anything yet, obviously, other than the Pulse. But um, I kind of feel like I'm in the same boat with you in the sense that, like, I think the Pulse are adequate. However, if I could get something that's like twice as powerful and is going to sound even better, like, am I missing out in playing these games now? Would Black
Right.
Ops be 1,000 times better if it sounded better? That's where I'm at. But that's a big price point to jump in. That's a $300 piece of hardware to jump into.
Are they 350?
They might be. Maybe I've been thinking in my head 300. Maybe they are 350.
They're 350. I'm pretty
But
sure.
even if not them, you say, well, geez, the Bose has those QC35s. You got those Sony X1000s, whatever. I don't know. Like, I think I'm still in the same boat with you. I think it's too soon to tell. I think we need to see more games. I'll be really curious with like what Immortals Fenyx Rising does, because that's finally a new game I could throw in the pile.
Right.
I haven't touched Watch Dogs Legion. I know obviously we're talking a lot of Ubisoft games here. I think the Division 2 sounds good with the Pulse 3D with 3D enabled, and that's an older game. I think that's a lot of fun. Another Ubisoft game. It's all Ubisoft, man. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely something to think about as we kind of advance through this generation. Like at some point, you're probably going to want to upgrade to an HDMI 2.1 TV. At some point, you're probably going to want to pull the trigger on a really nice sound bar or a nice sound system or a nice pair of headphones. And I just don't know when that is. I don't know when the natural breaking off point is. I know we've only had the console for a couple weeks, but I got to admit, I am obsessed thinking about it.
Yeah, I love it. I miss my PlayStation. And you were right, $299.99 for the Penrose.
Okay. It's still a lot. I mean, it's still it's a big piece of hardware.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess that's the question to end on, is just for food for thought. At some point, it's going to be time to upgrade. I don't know when that is. Is it a monster hit? Are we waiting? Is it a game like Cyberpunk that comes out that's like, wow, I need to hear this in crystal clear audio? Is it Immortals? Is it, I don't know. I don't know what's on the horizon. Is it Far Cry 6? Is it whatever? But we're stuck in that point where like we know there's something better, we just don't know how much better. And
Right.
I just don't know if anybody's ready to just plunk even more money after blowing so much on these consoles to go out and buy some more hardware for it.
Yeah, especially the people that paid $1,500 for a console.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Phil needs to go eat this chicken sandwich.
Yes.
And I need to go eat food. I don't know what I'm going to eat. Probably pizza like I always do. But sir, we made it. We made it for a whopping 52 minutes and 9 seconds. I salute you. I know you're salivating to eat. So with that, I jump it over to Phil's farewell. Hopefully you've thought of something to say.
No. Ugh. This is awful. I guess just like I never remember to fucking do these, war also never changes. Good night. I'm sorry, dude. I gotta like brainstorm and put like 50 of them together, pre-recorded, so I can just belt them off.